What if I told you there's a fish so quiet, so patient, so invisible, that most of its victims never even realized they were being hunted? A fish that doesn't flash neon colors, doesn't bulldoze your aquascape, doesn't chase the glass like a deranged Oscar having a meltdown. No, this one doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't need to. It waits, it watches, it calculates. And when the moment is right, the perfect heartbeat of stillness, it doesn't explode in chaos. It strikes with the calm, clean, unshakable precision of a scalpel. One motion, one bite, one disappearance. No warning, no drama, just silence and results. This isn't the alpha wolf of your tank. It doesn't charge into battles. It doesn't claim the spotlight. This is something else entirely. The whisper behind the rock, the shadow that wasn't there 5 seconds ago. The stillness you suddenly realize has eyes. This is the Altolamprologus Calvus. And if you've never heard of it, that's fine. That's perfect, actually. Because Calvus doesn't care about being known. It doesn't do flashy entrances or social media stardom. It doesn't care about your TikTok. It's not going viral. It's going invisible. It doesn't want your attention. It wants your blind spot. And it'll wait for hours, days, weeks, until the odds are in its favor, until the moment you relax. And that's when the lights go out for whatever was swimming nearby. So let me ask you, have you ever kept a fish that didn't want to be seen, that didn't beg for food, didn't come to the glass, didn't chase anything in sight, but somehow still ruled the tank? Have you ever felt like your fish was studying you? If so, drop your story in the comments and tag it "stared down by a shadow." Because whether you realize it or not, Calvus is the kind of fish that rewires how you think about aggression, territory, and dominance. It's not loud, it's not showy, it doesn't throw tantrums like a spoiled Oscar or scatter fry like a maniacal Mbuna. It simply removes obstacles, silently, surgically, permanently. Calvus is what happens when nature says, what if we made a predator that never needs to chase? And if you've ever looked at your aquarium and thought, I wish something in there had secrets, then you're about to meet your match. Because this fish, it doesn't live in your tank, it haunts it. Let's dive in. The Altolamprologus Calvus isn't just from any lake. It's born in one of Earth's deepest, oldest, and most dangerous bodies of water, Lake Tanganyika. Not your local fishing hole, not some muddy South American stream with floating leaves and chill vibes. This is a lake that's been around for over 9 million years. That's older than most species we even keep in our tanks. And it's not just old, it's enormous. So deep it could swallow skyscrapers. So vast it stretches across 4 countries. And so mysterious, it holds nearly 20% of the world's fresh water. Think about that. One lake holding a fifth of Earth's liquid life. But within that ancient rift, there's no tropical paradise, no soft sand beds, no fields of dancing plants. What you'll find instead is stone, endless, jagged, piled stone, a collapsed labyrinth of prehistoric rock slides and volcanic cliffs. Imagine a tankscape designed by a caveman with a grudge, and multiply it by 1,000. That's where the Calvus lives, in the cracks, in the black, in the places even other cichlids avoid. This isn't open water. This isn't the neighborhood where guppies play. This is a stone jungle. And the Calvus, it's the ghost that owns the alleyways. While other fish evolve to swim fast or flash bright, the Calvus evolved to vanish. Its body is flattened like paper, bones compressed like tactical origami. Not to look cool, but to slip into crevices no other fish can reach. Why? Because when you live in a neighborhood full of killers, Frontosas, Lepidiolamus, Richardi, you don't try to outswim them. You disappear. You become the rock. You wait for them to turn their back, and then you strike. And strike it does. From behind, from below, from within, with a jaw that snaps forward like a loaded spring. One bite, and the prey vanishes. It's not dominance. It's not brute strength. It's not flashy intimidation. It's surgical warfare. And Calvus is the scalpel. So here's a question for you. If you were dropped into Lake Tanganyika right now, into that underwater stone jungle, do you think you'd even notice a Calvus before it noticed you? Be honest. Would you spot the predator or become part of its story? Drop your answer in the comments and tag it Survivor if you think you'd see it, or Stone Jungle Snack if, well, you know, because the Calvus didn't evolve to be admired. It evolved to be forgotten until it's too late. This fish isn't part of the environment. It is the environment. And when it finally moves, the only thing you'll see is the moment after. If the wolf cichlid is the apex predator, the Calvus is the contract killer. It doesn't hunt with brute force. It doesn't waste energy. It doesn't get emotional. It thinks. It plans. It calculates the exact millimeter to strike. You might see it hover for 5 minutes behind a rock, not frozen, not afraid, just watching. Then, when the target turns, boom! One flash of speed, one crunch of the jaw, one less fry in the tank, and you'll miss it because it's not meant to be seen. It's meant to be remembered by what disappears after. Some aquarists report their Calvus memorizing patterns, where the dithers sleep, which gaps in the rock lead to food, even when you walk in the room. It's not aggression, it's awareness. This is not a dumb fish. This is not a glass puppy. This is a brain with gills, and it remembers everything. Take a close look, really close. What do you see? A fish so compressed it looks two-dimensional, a body so narrow it can slip into gaps thinner than your finger, and scales that shimmer like armor in the low light. This is no accident. The Calvus evolved for tactical warfare, not brute force, not intimidation. Its elongated face isn't a quirk. It's a tool, allowing it to reach into shells, tunnels, and crevices and snatch whatever dares to hide. Its large jaw may look overbuilt, but when it clamps shut, it's like a mousetrap with teeth. Every part of this fish is engineered for one thing: surgical dominance in tight spaces. Other cichlids fight to be seen. The Calvus fights to never be found. The Calvus isn't openly aggressive. It won't chase tank mates like a rabbit in Buna. It won't dig up your entire scape like a blood parrot with ADHD. But don't mistake that for weakness, because when a Calvus attacks, it doesn't warn. It doesn't puff up. It just ends it. One strike, usually from underneath, usually when the prey least expects it. And that prey often is fry. Yes, Calvus are expert fry predators. Even in the wild, they specialize in raiding the nests of other cichlids. Wait for the moment of distraction, then strike with sniper precision. So don't be fooled by the lack of conflict on the surface. The real battles in a Calvus tank happen in silence. The kind of silence that makes your shrimp population mysteriously shrink. You want to keep a Calvus? Then build it a labyrinth. Forget your planted tanks. Forget your open swimming zones. This isn't about aesthetics, it's about ambush. You'll need rock piles, lots of them. Narrow crevices it can barely fit through. Overhangs, shadow pockets, vertical slabs. Because a Calvus doesn't want space, it wants angles. It wants to wedge itself into a crack and own it. It wants to lurk under a rock facing upward. It wants to build a territory within your hardscape, not just around it. Substrate, sand is ideal. Water, hard and alkaline, just like Lake Tanganyika. Think pH between 7.8 and 9.0, temps around 25 to 28 degrees Celsius tank size. You can keep a single in a 30-gallon. But for a pair or community setup, you'll want at least 55 to 75 gallons. And tank mates? Choose carefully. Shell dwellers? Maybe. Small dithers? Risky. Fast upper water fish? Possible. But any slow or fry-size fish? They're target practice. And no tank mates that try to outcompete them for caves. That's like stealing a sniper's nest. You won't get a second warning. Calvus are carnivores, but they're not pigs. They don't gobble, they don't panic eat, they stalk, wait, strike. So feeding them, it's about mimicking the hunt. Start with live or frozen brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, bloodworms, high-quality carnivore pellets, small-sized. And here's a tip, drop one at a time near their cave. Watch them emerge like a ghost from the rock. That's not hunger, that's strategy. Do not overfeed. Their digestive system is slow. Too much food equals bloating equals death. They're like a fine machine. Run them hot, they break. Feed them lean, they thrive. And no goldfish, no mammal meats, no greasy treats. This is a sniper, not a street fighter. Breeding Calvus is a test of patience. Not because they're difficult, but because they take their sweet time. Sexing them, almost impossible as juveniles. They all look the same, slender, armored, mysterious. But give them time, sometimes up to 2 years, and you'll see subtle signs. Males develop slightly more pointed fins, females stay a little shorter, rounder, and both become fiercely territorial around chosen caves. Spawning. It happens deep inside rock piles or shells. The female enters a crevice, lays her eggs, and stays hidden for days. The male guards the perimeter like a bouncer at an underground club. And when the fry hatch, tiny, fragile, easy to lose, this is where most aquarists fail. They forget the fry need: crushed baby brine, high water quality, zero current, and no distractions. One wrong move, and your Calvus pair disappears back into silence for months. Want to breed them? Then learn to wait like one. Calvus aren't cheap, and they're not always easy to find. Why? Because they grow slow, they breed slow, and they sell even slower unless the buyer knows what they're doing. Juveniles can cost $20 to $50 each. Wild-caught variants like black Calvus, white Calvus, or yellow Calvus, easily $70 to $120. But here's the thing, you're not paying for size. You're paying for silence, for subtlety, for a fish that won't impress your friends until one day it emerges from the rocks and they freeze. Because even in stillness, Calvus commands respect. Why Calvus keepers fail. Let's save some lives. Mistake 1, putting them with fry or shrimp. You just served a buffet. Mistake 2, forcing open tank layouts. They don't want swimming lanes, they want ambush points. Mistake 3, feeding too much, too fast. They won't eat like an Oscar, and if you try, you'll kill them. Mistake 4, rushing breeding setups. Calvus don't breed on your schedule, they breed when they trust you. Mistake 5, choosing tank mates that compete for territory. They might not win the fight, but they'll die trying or disappear entirely. So, have you made any of these mistakes? Drop your story below and tag it. Silent lesson learned. Let's be honest. Calvus isn't for beginners. It's not for show-offs. And it's definitely not for anyone looking for action. But if you appreciate the quiet, if you respect the shadow dwellers, if you want a fish that doesn't just live in your tank, but haunts it, then welcome. Because keeping a Calvus isn't about watching a fish swim. It's about watching a presence unfold. It's about learning that strength doesn't need noise, that beauty doesn't always flash. Sometimes it just waits. So tell me, have you kept a Calvus before? What was your biggest surprise? Drop your story in the comments and tag it Ghost of the Rocks. And if this video made you rethink what power really looks like in an aquarium, then hit subscribe. Because here at Dark Cichlids, we don't just feed fish, we study them, we respect them, we tell their stories. And if that means something to you, then you belong here. Welcome to the silence. Welcome to the shadows. Welcome to Calvus. We'll see you in the next one.